You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Hello, before the episode, we just wanted to drop in and say we have merch finally available.
We're at tpublic.com. So if you'd like to check out all of our different merch that is continually being updated, you can go to trivialitypodcast.com, click merchandise, or go to tpublic.com and type in Triviality Podcast, or there's an even easier way, Ken.
Google it.
Google it.
Yeah, that's right. And we have our classic logo and some crazy stuff that Neal came up with, featuring some inside jokes from the show. So we hope you like the merch and let us know your ideas as well.
Yep, and thank you all for your support, and we hope you enjoy our new merchandise.
On to the show.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neal. I'm here with Matt and Jeff. Let's start with Matt. You're wearing a Clippers hat to represent Los Angeles. How are you feeling today?
Doing great in City of Angels, enjoying this probable Christmas time. I think that we're probably releasing this episode around.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Just right around there. Yep. So I'm glad to hear you're doing well. Jeff, how are you?
I'm good. Trying not to get blown away today. The Windy City is holding up to its reputation.
Yeah, there's just so many politicians screaming at you today out in the wilderness. I'm doing pretty good. I'm super excited. The latest Lincoln Lawyer novel from Michael Connelly came out, and I've been just waiting anxiously basically for like 6 months, so I'm happy about that. Ken, unfortunately, is not here. He was at a grocery store. He was being safe. He was trying to get some refried beans. It did not go well. He slipped, hurt his tailbone, so he's resting at home, icing that tailbone with frozen refried beans, which they had right next door to the regular refried beans. So, best wishes to him. But we do want to say hello to Triviality's official sixth man. He came in clutch at Geek Bowl in Chicago, coming to us from Seattle, a savage superstar and patron, a good friend of the show, and that is Markkus Ellis. How's it going, Markkus?
It's going great. You know, I'm alive. I'm breathing. That's always good. Unfortunately, I have the distinct honor right now of watching the Seattle Seahawks attempt to play defense, and it's not going great. But other than that, happy to be here and happy to reunite with you guys because, except for Matt, I didn't get to see Matt in Chicago because I replaced him. And that's why if you've seen me post that I'm Brown Matt, that's why. Yeah.
Well, I love
my
it.
Official understudy, I would say.
Yeah,
exactly. There we go.
Exactly. And like I said, Matt is wearing a Clippers hat because he is in Los Angeles. I'm wearing a Bears hat just to make sure I'm joining the fray here. And then Markkus is wearing his Seahawks hat. Markkus, you have some news. I think that just dropped today or yesterday at the time of recording. So do you want to tell the audience about that?
I've fortunate that the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, Sports Trivia Podcast, has added me as their 8th kind of rotating co-host. So I recorded my first show yesterday, and I'm excited and looking forward to being a part of the team.
Yeah, we can't wait to hear you. And we had a great episode that was released prior to this with Josh and Eric on it. And I believe we had every member of the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast on the show, except for JJ and Mason now after Markkus. So we need to get both of you on the show. But if you haven't heard that show, make sure you check it out. And thank you, Markkus, for being a Patreon supporter. Our next person we'd like to introduce is a very special guest who will be hosting today's game. He is wearing a Pittsburgh hat, a Pitt hat, and he's coming to us from Pittsburgh. And that is David Fudor. How's it going, David?
I'm doing great, Neal. Happy to be here. Very excited.
Yeah, we've been trying to get you on the show for a while. We're super excited that you've prepared a game for us today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Like you said, I'm here in Pittsburgh, the Steel City. I am a family law attorney here in Pittsburgh. So on the off chance and you guys have any divorce or custodial needs in the greater Pittsburgh area, please look me up. But my family and I, we came to your podcast earlier this year when sort of the quarantine started, and it kind of replaced bar trivia for us. And so shout out to my wife and 2 kids, Gwen and Jacob, 12 and 9. They enjoy the show, and they're going to get a kick hearing their dad on the podcast.
Well, we have a lot of attorneys, and it's a pretty good market for us, apparently.
I was just going to say, I think we have the largest. Now, David will be our counsel, as we always say, if we have a new lawyer who joins the team.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think we might have the largest legal team, I think, in the history of the world, which is good for us. So if we get divorced, if we get in a car accident, if we murder someone, if we have a copyright infringement, we're totally covered. I think.
Whatever you need.
I don't know if you're covered for murders, but
well, I mean, hey, just ask Michael Douglas. If you have the perfect murder, everything will be okay.
I like to dial M for murder.
There you go. David, we appreciate you being here and being a Rules Guy impersonator on Patreon. What can we expect from your game today?
From my game, I think it's going to be good. It's going to be 20 questions, a good swing round, and it's going to be. It seems like it's going to be a good match between the 4 of you.
All right. Well, I think as Markkus alluded, he called himself Brown Matt as he was the understudy to Matt for Geek Ball. So I think you guys are going to be a team because of your immense chemistry. So what is your team name today?
Clearly, 2 peas in a pod. We're going to be Ebony and Ivory.
Ebony and Ivory
in harmony.
All right. So we got Ebony and Ivory over there. Jeff, I know we had talked about what we wanted to be named, and Ebony and Ivory doesn't really sound like a scent, but I feel like the representation of you and me is citrus and sandalwood.
I see.
So we'll go with that. So these are the teams. Let's throw it to the rules guy and figure out how to play the game.
The rules of the game are simple. 20 questions split into 2 rounds worth 10 points apiece. At halftime, there'll be a special swing round designed by this week's host. After regulation, players will enter the final round with the points that they've accumulated and will have a chance to wager 0 to 30 points on 5 categorized questions. At the end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop.
I am the cream.
I think he sounded a little Vin Scully-ish today. I don't know. What do you think, Matt?
I think it was just a bit outside, to be honest.
Nice Bob Uecker reference. All right. Well, David, feel free to take it away. We are ready to play.
Sure. Okay. Round 1, question 1. The category is books. The best-selling fiction book for 2019, which has remained at the top of the bestseller list for 2020, features in its title This Animal, popular in Southern cuisine.
We are locked in over here. Feel free to talk out loud, guys.
So we're trying to latch on to the Southern cooking angle, and I said shrimp. What were you thinking?
So, as weird as it sounds, I feel like just a random weird Southern thing that I've heard is frog, but I do like shrimp better, or I don't know, any kind of seafood seems like it would be good.
Yeah, there could be a book about shrimps. Let's say shrimp. We're locked in.
All right. Well, yep. I don't know why my mind went here. I think there's a new restaurant around the corner that has this as a delicacy, and that could be why. But I thought I heard something about crawfish, which is in a very similar family. So that's what we locked in with.
Okay. Points to citrus and sandalwood. The answer is crawdad, but I will take crawfish. They are the same thing. The book is Where the Crawdad Sings.
Okay, so
you actually were pretty close.
Yeah, I was pretty close. Okay, I feel good about that.
And sorry, Ebony and Ivory, I have 20 questions about books. No, okay. No. All right, round 1, question 2. This one will go to music. In 1984, Michael Jackson set the record at the time by winning 8 Grammy Awards in one night for his album Thriller. 1 year prior, at the 1983 Grammys, this band, who had multiple members collaborate with Jackson on Thriller, won Album of the Year and Record of the Year. Name the band.
Okay, so Ebony and Ivory is locked in. The first thought that I had is Thriller. I'm not Thriller, is Beat It, which Eddie Van Halen famously did the solo and helped arrange part of that song. But I don't know if any of the other members of the band had anything to do with Thriller. And I'm trying to think of the other songs on the album, and I can't think of a type of music. Quincy Jones, obviously, but I don't. Beatles, no.
That's not. I mean, Quincy Jones isn't a band.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he is a band if you he's a genius, but he's not a band.
Good observation, Jeff.
Yeah. Do you just want to go Van Halen for no good reason and the topical nature of it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're logging in. I don't know why I said that. Well, why not? We're logging into AOL and we're going to say Van Halen.
Van Halen. Yeah, I think David Lee Roth choreographed the Thriller video, if I recall correctly. Probably. I think we're also going with Van Halen, right?
Yes. Yeah. Van Halen.
Well, when I wrote this question, I didn't mean to swerve because of the recent passing of Eddie Van Halen, but it is not Van Halen. The record of the year, you might know it, was Rosanna. The band is Toto.
Oh.
All right, round one, question 3, television. This series of NBC public service announcements, which still air today, was created in 1989 with the first year devoted exclusively to educating the public on the importance of teachers.
I've got an idea. Yeah.
Okay. We're going to lock in over here. Let you guys talk.
Are these though those like The More You Know with the star thing?
That's exactly what I thought. The More You Know.
Okay. So we'll lock in with that.
And we also felt the rainbow go across the screen in front of us. We said The More You Know.
Okay, points to both teams. You guys are both right. It is The More You Know.
I always associate it with like watching NBA Inside stuff, and it would always be like in between because like they got to teach you something.
Ahmad Rashad, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to love watching that. What a great program.
Okay, round one, question 4. The category is U.S. history. During the Civil War, what were Elmira, Andersonville, and Johnson's Island?
Okay, so Jeff and I have been discussing for quite a while. We just can't really get onto an answer. We said, well, maybe it could be battles, but they don't sound like famous battles. Could it be where treaties were signed? Maybe a burial ground, or what sort of significance do these areas have? And we just could not come up with a good answer. So we don't think they're battle sites, which is very generic. But we're just going to say battles because we can't think of a better answer.
Yeah, when I first heard Andersonville, and where I think I actually heard it, I think it was in like Ghost Hunters. I think it's like a haunted prison, to be honest. I think it's a prison. So I think we locked in with like a prison camp, right? Does that sound right?
Yeah. Like I said, the only one I recognized was Andersonville. And when you said, I think it's a prison, that triggered something. So yeah, prison camp.
Well, there are points going out that round, and they're going to Ebony and Ivory. Those are prison camps. Good job. I think Andersonville and Elmira might be southern, but Johnson's Island, I think, was in Ohio. So it's both north and south.
Okay.
Round one, question 5. I think this is usually your listener submission or
yeah, we used to do that.
One of those things. I don't know. Maybe I'm listening to the podcast that happened years ago, but this one came from my kids. So this was the category is games. So this immensely popular online multiplayer game was released in 2018 to little fanfare, but is currently the top free gaming app on Apple. In this game, the players are either crewmates or imposters and compete on one of 3 maps.
We can lock in over here. Let you guys talk.
Neal's been jamming his hours.
Is this Among Us? Is that the one that everyone's playing?
Yes, that everybody posts the little
guys.
Hey, I just see random people being like, hey, here's the code Among Us, and I'm like, what? I had no idea what it was until a couple of weeks ago. So
same here, but we were locked in with Among Us.
Yeah, we're gonna click the button for an emergency meeting, and we're going to accuse Team Ebony and Ivory of being the suspect. But yeah, we went with Among Us.
No imposters here. Points all around. It is Among Us.
So after 5 questions at the start of the game here, it looks like Team Ebony and Ivory have 30 points, and Team Citrus and Sandalwood also have 30 points.
All right.
Okay. Good job. Round 1, question 6. Category is finance. Following the removal of ExxonMobil and General Electric in recent years, which company is now the longest tenured in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, or Dow 30? This question may turn the tide of the match.
We're locked in over here, gentlemen.
You guys are locked in. Okay. so we heard tied, so that's about as far as we got.
Yeah, I'm thinking I know exactly what you're saying. You're saying it's not Johnson & Johnson, but they do tie, and I'm resisting the urge to go do a quick load of laundry.
Oh, is it Procter & Gamble? Is that the company?
Yes. Go with that. I like that.
Okay.
I don't know for sure, but I'm also
I think that's the one I was thinking of, so hopefully that's right. So we're going to take a gamble on the old Procter & Gamble.
Yeah, we too said Procter & Gamble.
Well, that was a great pull by Ivory there. The answer is Procter & Gamble.
It's the law firm of health products or of
yeah. Okay, round 1, question 7. Your category is actors. Martin Scorsese's The Irishman features 3 acting legends in Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci. Arrange those 3 actors from oldest to youngest.
Okay.
We're locked in, by the way.
Great. All right. So I think we've come that De Niro's the oldest. I think we agree on that. And then it's a toss up between the other two. Let's say Joe's the youngest, because I think that was our first inkling, right?
Yeah. Yes. So,
agreed. So we're gonna go Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, and then De Niro in that order.
Okay. Yeah, we had a similar conversation. It's kind of tough because they've both played old and younger, and I feel like they're very close in age. But we ultimately went with De Niro as the youngest, Pacino, and then Pesci.
Okay, the order here is Al Pacino is the oldest. He is 80 years old. Joe Pesci is slightly older than Robert De Niro. Joe Pesci is about a month older than Robert De Niro. So it's Al Pacino, then Joe Pesci, and then the youngest of the 3 is Robert De Niro.
I don't think backwards.
I think you had it completely backwards. Yeah.
It's funny too.
But we thought we were doing it the other way, so we were. No, I don't know.
You used your "I want birthday points" earlier today, so.
Yeah, I think you said the right order, but you had it going from youngest to oldest. But
we sure did.
Okay, round 1, question 8: colleges and universities. The oldest college or university located west of the Mississippi River is located in which major American city? This school also has a mythical mascot, which was created by an art teacher in 1908. Name the city and you name the school.
So off the top of my head, the only colleges I can think that are named after a city are like UNLV?
University of Phoenix.
University of Phoenix, yeah.
Phoenix is a mythical creature.
Oh, it's a devil?
No, it's a phoenix. It's like a bird that rises from the ashes after it dies.
I know, but is it? Well, there's no University of Phoenix, though, right?
Yeah, it's on TV all the time.
Oh, you're talking about that one. So
I don't know.
That you think that has been around since 1908?
The Sun Devils.
Oh, okay. Is that in Phoenix?
There's,
I think so. No.
Tempe. That's Tempe.
That could be major. Well, I don't know if we're gonna get to anything else, and I kind of like it. It looks like it was drawn by an art teacher, the little devil man.
Yeah, the little devil man. I mean, I'm good with that if you are, because I don't know that I could spend another 20 minutes just naming mascots of college teams on the West Coast. But yeah, I'm good with that if you are.
Yep. Okay, we're gonna say Arizona Sun Devils.
We just guessed University of Phoenix because the phoenix is a mythical creature. So,
oh my god!
Unfortunately, no points to either team on that one. You don't have to go very far west of the Mississippi. It is the Billikens of St. Louis University.
Oh, right.
Oh, what's a Billiken?
It's like a troll, like a little troll thing.
Yes, I can see their stupid mascot now.
It apparently came to an art teacher in a dream, and she drew out a troll, and they adopted that mascot in the early 20th century.
I feel like every college mascot should be whatever dream comes to their art teacher. Because that would just make things more interesting.
I did hear just about every city west of the Mississippi on that, so that was pretty good. A lot of good answer there. All right, round 1, question 9. The category is food or restaurants. One of the most iconic sandwiches maybe anywhere, but definitely in Pittsburgh, is a sandwich from Primanti Brothers. Other than meats and cheese, name 2 of the other 3 toppings which are standard on every Primanti Brothers sandwich. For 5 bonus points, name all 3.
Okay, Jeff. So the other team is locked in. I've never heard of the sandwich before, the Primanti Brothers sandwich, but we know that there are meats and cheeses on it. I think for no other reason than Pittsburgh's colors for all their sports teams, the black and gold. I feel like it's a mustard town, so that's into consideration. And it's probably like some sort of greasy, delicious type sandwich. It makes me think of like a muffaletta or like a Philly cheesesteak because East Coast. So we want something that will make it moist.
You got to have a Moistmaker.
That's correct. So something moist. So a mustard or a mayo, maybe some sort of oil concoction. Is there lettuce on the sandwich? Lettuce is always good.
Or we threw out French fries because that would be Make for a memorable sandwich.
Yeah, a little Pittsburgh French fry sandwich. All right, so where are we leaning? So we need 2 out of 3. So do we want to? What's our Moistmaker?
I'm feeling mustard.
All right, mustard is our Moistmaker. And do we go lettuce or fries?
Oh, we'll go fries.
All right, so we're going to go mustard and fries on the sandwich is our final answer.
People do not like that word, and there's going to be a lot of skipping in this episode.
I know everyone seems to really not like fries. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know, and I just for those people, just one more time because I love doing this. You got to say it really, really slow and low, like moist,
moist.
Anyway. All right, so I definitely have seen these before. I think it was on Man vs. Food, which I used to watch hungover quite a bit. So I didn't do it today, though, sadly. So I'm pretty sure that these come with fries. And then, Marcus, you were saying onions. Was that what you were thinking?
Yeah. As someone, one of the, I feel like few that is not an onions person, I feel like anytime you go to a restaurant, I have to ask. And like 90% of the time, they don't say anything. They're like, okay, no onions. It's very rare that they go, oh, yeah, there's no onions on this sandwich. So that's my inkling. Like I said, when I went to Geek Bowl, that was like the second time I've ever been off the West Coast. So I don't have any other bearing other than not liking onions, I guess.
All right. Well, I hate onions too. So we're going fries and onions.
You guys got one of the two right in fries. You did not get the M word ingredient, which is coleslaw and tomatoes. So French fries, coleslaw, and tomatoes. Those come on every Permane Brothers sandwich. Round 1, question 10. The category is politics. Who was the last presidential candidate to receive 60% of the popular vote in the general election?
We can lock in.
Thinking back, because I know everything up to like 2000 has been pretty close, right? You'd say?
Yeah, I would say. So I'll tell you what my first thought was. My first thought was Billy C's second term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also thought Bill Clinton, but I was thinking his first term because I think that by his second one, he had lost a little bit of his popularity. But I remember he was like,
okay, yeah,
the most popular. I mean, it doesn't matter which one, but
right. I think we both agree that it's Bill Clinton.
Yeah, I think post saxophone on Arsenio, he was at his highest approval rating.
I mean, what a power move!
Yeah,
that's the ultimate move. No president will ever equal that. Is going and playing the saxophone.
Yeah. So we're gonna say Slick Willie and his saxophone.
I'm surprised that Michael Dukakis didn't perform on a glockenspiel. I think he would have had better results. Jeff, you had some sort of line of thinking on this one.
Yeah, I feel like not Reagan's first election, but I think Reagan's second election, he won like all but one state or all but 2 states. So I think it was like a pretty big victory.
Who's Reagan, by the way?
Ronald Reagan.
Is that Reagan and reggae at the same time?
Yes, it is.
It's the reggae version of Ronald Reagan. Reggae Ronnie.
Ronald Reggae.
Okay, so you want to go Reagan?
I want to say I looked at recently at like maps of like electoral victories, and I feel like that one was a pretty big one. So
okay,
I'm pretty comfortable with
That's
that. I know
so
Clinton's
boring, Jeff.
Clinton's
God.
first one got split.
Ronald Reggae isn't. Stay off drugs to dare.
I'm good with that. We'll lock in Reagan.
Reagan got close. Bill Clinton never got to 50% of the popular vote. Reagan got very close in 84, but your answer is Richard Nixon, 1972.
Wow.
All right. So look at some of those charts that Jeff was looking at, apparently.
Yeah.
All right. After the first round, even though it sounded like we knew what we were talking about, we didn't get a lot of points.
That's the name of my autobiography.
Yeah, it is. But we're tied at 40 points right now, which is respectable. So tied at 40 before going into the second round. And before I throw it to David for the swing round, just want to let everyone know to come join us over at The Crop on Facebook. To interact with our listeners, see about new releases. If you don't want to go on Facebook, we just started a Triviality Discord. So if you're not sure what Discord is, we can explain it at a later time, but we have some links in the crop on Patreon, and we'll throw a link on here for the next few episodes where you can come It's a chat program, and we're actually going to be doing a lot of our recordings through Discord moving forward, just for some better quality. So if you want to be on the show in the future, maybe get an account, and we'll invite you. And also hit us up on social media at Triviality Pod. David, what do you have in store for the swing round today?
So for the swing round, I'm calling it 10 for 10. ESPN has amassed a large library of sports documentaries in the 30 for 30 franchise, which was originally conceived as 30 films from 30 directors. However, there are now 157 films in the series. I will give you the title of 10 different films. Please tell me the sport that this documentary primarily depicts. As a hint, there are no repeats for the sports. So question 1 or answer 1 is 9.79. Number 2, Bad Boys. Number 3, Charismatic. Number 4, King's Ransom. Number 5, Doc and Daryl. Number 6, The Two Escobars. Number 7, Pony Excess. Number 8, 42 to 1. Number 9, The 16th Man. And number 10, The Price of Gold.
Okay, we will look at these questions and be back soon with our answers. Okay, all the answers are now locked in. So let's go back to David for the clues, and we will give our answers.
So I was asking you for the sport that these 30 for 30 documentaries depicted. Question 1 was 9.79.
All right. Yeah, we thought this one could possibly be a time for running, so we said track.
Yeah, we also thought that this was track.
You guys are both right. That was track and field. That was the documentary about Carl Lewis and Ben Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Question 2 was Bad Boys.
We thought this was about the Detroit Pistons, so we said basketball.
Yep, same. We knew that the Bad Boys are the Detroit Pistons, so basketball.
All correct there. That was about the Detroit Pistons. That was basketball. Question 3, Charismatic.
This one we talked about for a really long time. We had a lot of trouble because I know I've seen the trailer for it. I just could not remember the pictures. I remember seeing the name of it, and we toyed with, maybe football, like a charismatic football player, maybe gymnastics or something. But ultimately, we thought maybe going like the John McEnroe route, and we just said maybe it was tennis, and it was ironic.
Yeah, I was almost positive that this is the name of one of the horses that was close to the Triple Crown or got it, but we said horse racing.
So points to Ebony and Ivory there. The answer is horse racing. That is the horse that almost won the Triple Crown, broke down just after the wire in the Belmont, and the story is about the horse and his jockey.
Mm-hmm.
Question 4, King's Ransom.
We figured that this one might be chess.
And we knew that King's Ransom was about Wayne Gretzky leaving the Edmonton Oilers and heading to the LA Kings, so we said hockey.
That makes so much sense.
Points again to Ebony and Ivory. That was about the Wayne Gretzky trade. It is hockey.
Yeah, we have that Queen's Gambit on the brain. That's why.
Yeah, and to be honest, this is a really good category for me and Marcus. So it kind of worked out.
So question 5, Doc and Daryl.
Yeah, this one, anytime I think of sports and Daryl, the first person I think of is Daryl Strawberry. And I know he had some issues, for lack of a better word. And I thought maybe there's a documentary about it. So we said baseball.
Right fielder for the Springfield Isotopes, Daryl Strawberry. We said baseball.
That is the story about the two Mets from the 1980s. It is baseball. Question 6, the two Escobars.
Outside of Pablo Escobar, we don't know too many Escobars, but we just guessed soccer.
Well, one of the Escobars was Pablo. What was the other one, Marcus?
I don't know, but I know we both said, Escobar. And conjoined with the Mets question, we agreed that a lot of this centered around cocaine. So we also said soccer.
Well, that is a good pull by both teams. I think the other Escobar might have been named Andres or Andre, but that is about the two Escobars, Pablo and the Colombian soccer player who scored the own goal in the 94 World Cup. So it is soccer.
Oh.
Yeah, there was like a hit put out on him. Like it did not go well for him. Yeah.
Wasn't he killed? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Question 7, Pony Excess.
Yeah, so Pony Excess normally for me is when I listen to too much Genuine. But we knew this was probably a trick question, and we just figured, you know what, he's probably going to trick us, but we have no idea. So let's just in case, let's just say horse racing. So that's what we locked in with.
Yeah, this one was about a football scandal at SMU. So we said football.
Yeah, the ponies in question are the Mustangs of SMU. The answer is football. Question 8, 42-1.
We thought these might be odds or potentially a record, and we said boxing.
We figured they were odds. We kind of talked, about the Jimmy the Greek gambling 30 for 30, but then we thought about Buster Douglas, and I think this is about the Buster Douglas Mike Tyson fight. So we said boxing.
Well, those are odds, and if you had James Buster Douglas at 42-1, you were pretty happy. It is boxing. Question 9, the 16th man.
Yeah, this one we also had a lot of trouble because we couldn't think of a sport that had that many players, and we thought, well, maybe it's a sport where a bunch of people got hurt, and then the person who scored the winning touchdown, goal, point, or whatever was the 16th person who came in, and so obviously we know we're wrong now, but we locked in with hockey.
Yeah, this one we had the hardest time with. If it was the sixth man starring Marlon Wayans, I would know that it was basketball, but I did not know this one.
Great film.
A classic. But we just guessed rugby because we weren't sure on this one.
Not the 6th man, not the 12th man, Seattle Seahawks fans. There are 15 to a side in rugby. It is rugby.
Let's go.
Finally, the price of gold.
This one Jeff had a great idea
on. We thought maybe that this was about a gold medal, and we thought somebody who had paid the price for trying to reach fame. We said figure skating.
So we obviously, same thing, price of gold. We thought Olympics. We thought of a far more sinister answer in the gymnastics scandal. So we said gymnastics.
Well, what was a good category for Ebony and Ivory? Citrus and Sandalwood got some points back. The answer is ice skating, figure skating. Tanya
Harding.
Yeah. As soon as they said ice skating, I'm like, I bet it was the Tanya Harding one.
Well, almost perfect in that swing round for Ebony and Ivory, but they did get one incorrect, bringing their bonus points to 45 bonus points and their score to 85. And here at Citrus and Sandalwood, we picked up 30 points, which is still pretty good, bringing our total to 70.
Okay, round 2, question 1, category game shows. While Double Dare, and especially the obstacle course, is probably the most recognized Nickelodeon game show, in what other Nickelodeon program would contestants compete in a final round called the Video Zone?
We can lock in, actually. Look it up on YouTube after this, by the way, because it's so funny.
Seriously, everyone do it.
It's not Guts, because that was the Crag.
Yeah, it's not Legends of the Hidden Temple.
It's not Figure It Out, is it?
I don't think they did that on Figure It Out, no. Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to just go? Let's go with we'll lock in with David Cronenberg's Videodrome, which should have been a Nickelodeon show.
No, this is a game where they actually couldn't get the license for any of the good games, so they ended up playing Star Tropics over and over and over, and nobody wanted to play it. But I'm pretty sure it's called Nick Arcade. So
you are correct. It is Nick Arcade.
Yeah, the final round, they put in like these green screen suits, and they stand in front of this thing and play a live action video game where they're supposed to touch stuff, but it doesn't work, and it's very bad.
You know what the game that I remember the most from that is Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Oh, yeah.
That was on there every single time.
Yep.
All right, round 2, question 2. Also a wrestling tag team. Name the 1978 film which tells the true story of the escape of American Billy Hayes from a Turkish prison. This movie won Oliver Stone his first Oscar for screenwriting. But for wrestling fans, the name of the film will evoke memories of a tag team known more for its manager than its often changing members.
Jeff and I are locked in over here.
Okay, and I'm guessing you guys are going on the movie part of that question, and we're going with the wrestling. Not sure of the movie. So far, we've talked about the Four Horsemen, but don't really have a memorable manager. Was Midnight Express? Did they have a manager?
Yeah, I think it was Jim Cornette.
No, that's Jimmy Hart. But Jim Cornette, I mean, he's pretty well known for.
He is well known. Yeah, Midnight Express. That's. Yeah, Jim. Yeah, I'm fairly positive that Jim Cornette is the manager for the Midnight Express.
Okay, I think we can lock in with that then.
Let's do that.
Yes. So before he famously wrote Scarface, we said Oliver Stone wrote Midnight Express.
Well, that was a great poll by Ebony and Ivory, especially Ivory. The answer: Midnight Express.
Jim Cornette, not as much fun to follow right now online.
No,
he hates everything.
No. He hates everything that's not 80s style wrestling.
Yeah.
All right, round 2, question 3. The category is movie link. I will give you 3 movies. Name the actor or actress who appeared in all 3. The movies are Home Alone, JFK, National Lampoon's Vacation.
We don't know, but the only name that we thought of was Daniel Stern because we like him in Home Alone. So we're going to say Daniel Stern.
So we had an interesting conversation here. A lot of it was me talking to myself and Jeff looking at me strangely, but so we started with Home Alone and we went through, everyone: Daniel Stern, Joe Pesci, John Hurd, Catherine O'Hara, Macaulay Culkin, Kieran Culkin, all these people. And then we centered in on Vacation has a person who works at a theme park. Home Alone has someone in the back of a U-Haul, and JFK has someone in a nice suit and sunglasses. Candy. So we went John Candy.
Well, Neil's right. It is John Candy. Small parts in each 3 movies, but he was in all 3.
He's the king of polka in the Midwest, right?
That's right. Polka king of the Midwest.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, round 2. Question 4. The category is names. The name Devi, D-E-V-I, means goddess and is of Sanskrit origin. It is also the name of the Hindu mother goddess. Name the notable American whose middle name is Devi.
Okay, so that we were thinking actor. He said notable American.
He also said goddess, and we named a bunch of men.
True. True. I mean, yeah, right. We did, for the record, for the listeners, we did say maybe it is Michael B. Jordan's straight-to-video cousin, Michael D. Jordan, but so goddess. So we're looking for a notable female American. What's Kamala Harris' middle name?
Oh, it could be Kamala Harris.
I've never actually seen her middle name, but
it very well could be Kamala Harris.
Because I know they always...
That would make a lot of sense.
Okay, because they always say Joseph, is it R. Biden?
Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.
And they never say like some... They never say like... They just say Kamala Harris, but maybe that's her middle name.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Okay. All right. We'll lock in with Kamala Harris.
All right. And I'll let Marcus take this one away because I had no input.
Yeah, the question when he said notable American, I mean, that's not a ton to go on, but if we're thinking about what's going on in this country, and I think as of this recording, she's technically the vice president-elect. But I just said, hey, I think it could be Kamala Harris. I don't know her middle name, and Kamala is not common, so we also locked in with Kamala Harris.
Yeah, I think Jeff mentioned it. Assuming we have a transition of power in January with a couple unique middle names coming into the White House. You have Robinette, and for Kamala Harris, you have the middle name Davy. So points to both teams. Good job.
Oh, nice.
Round 2, question 5. The category is college football. What university, which plays in the American Athletic Conference, is the smallest Division I college as measured by total enrollment and boasts such notable alumni as Dr. Phil and NFL Hall of Famer and later Congressman Steve Largent?
Ooh, Steve Largent.
We can lock in.
Oh, wow.
We can lock in. I got it.
Based on Dr. Phil, I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah, definitely Dr. Phil.
So the AAC...
You think the audience is a bunch of hoes?
For anyone, that was the...
For the record, I do not think the Triviality audience is a bunch of hoes.
That was Bad Baby, right, Matt, on the Cash Me Outside episode?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's the AAC conference. It's maybe no, it wouldn't be Alaska. Dr. Phil wouldn't be in Alaska.
Why not?
Just because I feel like he's too good for Alaska. Not
Okay.
him. I think he thinks he's too good for Alaska. Let me clarify. Not that he is too good for Alaska.
Snow is dumb.
I mean, look,
ice is stupid.
Exactly. He's like, I starred in Scary Movie 4. I don't need to be going to
Did
Alaska.
we say it was an ACC school though?
Well, he said American something conference, which it came out to AAC, but maybe it's ACC. I don't know how the college works.
Those are two different conferences. This is the American Athletic Conference.
The American AC. Okay. So it's a trap, is what he's saying.
You've been barred from this conversation.
I don't know. I have no idea. Can you name just a really small school somewhere? Like the University of Guam or something? Or So yeah, I don't know. How about the University of Amarillo?
Okay.
So you said Dr. Phil, you said the AAC. I can name every school in the AAC. But then you said a very specific name that if I wasn't from this area, or because I'm from this area, I have to know it. You said Steve Largent, and Steve Largent is from the University of Tulsa.
Well, points are going to one team there, and it's not the Texas State Armadillos led by Kathy Ireland at kicker. It is the University of Tulsa. Good job.
Wow. So who is Steve Largent then? I've never heard that name.
When he retired, he was the all-time leading receiver in NFL history. Played for my Seattle Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this with confidence. He's the greatest white receiver who's ever played.
Wow. Take that, Ricky Prohl.
Yeah. I think
Seattle Seahawks legend Ricky Prohl.
Yeah, also a congressman from Oklahoma. So that was maybe one way you could have gotten to that one.
Okay. Well, after 5 questions in the second round, Team Ebony and Ivory are taking a larger lead. They picked up 40 more points, bringing their score to 125. And over here at Citrus and Sandalwood, we picked up 30 points, bringing us to 100.
Okay, round 2, question 6. The category is science. In 1901, Dr. Douglas McDougall identified 6 patients, primarily those with tuberculosis, and obtained their participation in an experiment to measure the weight of what?
You guys are locked in?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're discussing an episode of House that I watched one. No, I don't know. We got nothing over here.
Yeah.
Tuberculosis.
So we're talking about the spine.
Mm-hmm.
You can't weigh spinal fluid without, I assume, taking it out of the person.
Yeah.
So
I mean, let's just say spinal fluid because it sounds like a thing. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think we're gonna get anything else. So
no, I'm totally good with that. Spinal fluid.
So what you're saying is the Predator and Predator is really just a doctor examining all those spines that it rips out, right?
Yeah. But you didn't. Predator 2 is not a documentary?
Oh, well, it probably, I mean, it is very, very hot from climate change, and there's rampant just craziness going on in Los Angeles. So I'd say it's pretty accurate.
And Bill Paxton was super horny in that movie, so it all checks out.
There you go. Jeff, what do we have for our answer?
Yeah, we don't know exactly how you'd measure this in a living person either, but we just said lungs because we know tuberculosis affects the lungs.
No points to either team. If I had told you the weight of this object was 21 grams, the answer is the soul.
Oh. What? Huh. Oh, is that because when the moment you die, you weigh 21 grams less?
That's correct. Yes. That was his theory. Yes. Which also went into the title of that, I think it was a Sean Penn movie.
Yeah, it was a Sean Penn movie. Yeah, you're right. Interesting. Okay.
Round 2, question, I think it's 7, the Oscars. So ranking the Academy Award winners for Best Picture by total box office, not adjusted for inflation, only one of the top 10 highest grossing films was released in the 1980s. Name this film with perhaps an appropriate title for a film which made a lot of money.
Okay, so this was a tough one because I was trying to name all the movies that won Best Picture in the 80s. And I think we got most of them. I know Ordinary People, Chariots of Fire, Amadeus, Gandhi, I think Terms of Endearment, Out of Africa, Last Emperor, Driving Miss Daisy, and the only one we said that had anything remotely to do with money and was a big hit was Rain Man, and maybe he means raining money down on everyone.
Making it rain.
So that's what we went with ultimately.
Yeah, we weren't sure, so we went with the Sean Kemp documentary Rain Man as well.
I think it might be the 9th highest grossing box office best picture winner, but we're going to make it rain with Rain Man. Good job.
Pac-Man Jones. Woo!
We were trying to figure out how Gandhi equaled money, but we couldn't go there.
Well, if you play Civ 5, he just destroys you and just takes all your money every single time. It's part of his AI. So very money hungry.
Okay, round 2, question 8. The category is games. The Queen's Gambit is a popular and critically acclaimed show streaming on Netflix. It is also a common opening move in chess. This chess move is also known as what other gambit, named for the Syrian city where Philip Stamma was born, an 18th century chess master who would popularize this move. 2016 presidential candidate Gary Johnson would probably be no help on this question.
Yeah, we're locked in.
Very Queen's Gambit came up about like 4 or 5 times today. We've had a lot of discussion.
It's a great show.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. So you got the Queen's Gambit, you got the X-Men Gambit, but I don't know any other Gambits at all.
The Queen's Gambit was the name of Oliver Queen's ship in the show Arrow. When it crashed. Yeah. So
we're still not getting any closer.
No, we're not. But I'm just adding to the conversation as best I can.
What was the name of the chess player they were trying to find? Bobby Fischer? Is that the
Bobby
one?
Fischer? Where is he? I don't know.
He ended up in Iceland.
So we'll say we'll say the Bobby Fischer Gambit.
Yeah.
Fine. We're locked in with that. We don't know.
And Jeff, you had the answer right away. I think it was the same thing I thought of. But what do you have?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know too many cities in Syria. Damascus is the big one that comes to mind. But the Gary Johnson gaffe of all gaffes, I guess, for his party was that he didn't know the name of the city of Aleppo. So we said Aleppo.
Points there. It is Aleppo. Good job.
Speaking of,
I'm glad that hearing that I wouldn't have known it, so that's fine.
The Bobby Fischer thing of this all made me think of a story from when I was younger. I don't know if I told this on the podcast, but I remember when that movie Bobby Fischer, Searching for Bobby Fischer, came out. When I was younger, kids in school, they were like, "Oh, are you related?" Because kids are that way. Because my last name's spelled the same way. But when I was in 3rd grade or 2nd grade, I can't remember when, the whole Amy Fisher, Joey Buttafuoco thing came out. And I'm not kidding you, for like 3 months, all the kids were like, your sister's Amy Fisher, isn't it? And I'm like, no, it's not. And like, they just would razz me about it forever. But that was a strange time indeed.
Like, don't let him near the safety scissors is what they all said, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All
right. Round 2, question 9. Category is state capitals. So known informally as the Roundhouse, this state capital has the only round state capitol building. The building was designed to resemble the Zaya sun symbol found on this capital's state flag. Name the city.
Neal, I've got an idea. I think we can lock in.
All right.
So they're locked in. So probably a southwestern state, right? You would think, with the sun symbol.
Yeah, I would. I think that's fair.
So my first guess was it's in New Mexico, but I don't know. I don't know what the capital is. My brain
Santa Fe, right?
Yeah.
Santa Fe.
Santa Fe seems like it would have like a really cool round building.
Yeah, a pueblo of a building.
Hey guys, come on down to Santa Fe. We got a really cool round building.
Yeah, so
I'm good with that. I have. Yeah. We can go with Santa Fe.
Yep, Santa Fe it is.
We too went with New Mexico, Santa Fe.
Great job, both teams. The answer was Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Yeah. Known for their cool round buildings.
All right.
Pueblos.
Round 2, question 10. Category is video games. In Madden NFL 08, this player became the first player ever to receive 100 or perfect rating for speed.
Locked in.
Yeah. Yes. Locked in 1,000 times. Locked in.
Crank that.
Is this Soldier Boy?
It's gotta be. So if I remember correctly, I went to a Navy Pier Madden tournament with my brother. We entered our first game. the huge football fan next to me said, "Hey, I'm going to make some roster moves." And I said, "Is that legal?" And he said, "It's totally legal." And I said, "Okay." And he picked the Bears, and he said, "I'm going to put Devin Hester receiver and just pass to him the whole game. And I'm just going to let you know that right now." And I was like, "Okay." And he beat me like 70-2. So, I think you're thinking Devin Hester, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we'll go Devin Hester.
Yeah, Devin Hester was ridiculous. Speed 100, Devin Hester.
He's the all-time leader in return touchdowns, and he's the correct answer for question 10. It's Devin Hester. Good job.
Oh, man, that's so exciting. I love that question.
All right, after the second round and regulation, it looks like the scores are at 140 for Citrus and Sandalwood and 155 for Ebony and Ivory. Let's hear what those final round categories are, David.
So the questions for the final round: number 1, Reservoir Dogs; number 2, Pulp Fiction; number 3, Kill Bill; number 4, The Hateful Eight; and number 5, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Number 6, the one with the feet.
That's all of them. All the wagers are now locked in. So, David, feel free to go through our questions.
Okay, question 1 in Reservoir Dogs. While dogs have been used in warfare since ancient times, the first official record of dogs being used by the American military was in 1835, when bloodhounds served in the Second War named for this Native American tribe. Question 2, Pulp Fiction. In which 1962 novel, later a 1971 film, does the protagonist first person narrate the story in Norsat, an English-Russian slang? Question 3, Kill Bill. Richard Gere killed it in the film version of Chicago, singing and tap dancing as infamous defense lawyer Billy Flynn. In 2003, a member of this boy band joined the traveling Broadway company of Chicago, portraying Billy Flynn on stage, including a performance in Pittsburgh, which I attended. Name the boy band. Question 4, The Hateful Eight. In a landmark 1853 decision, still the basis of patent law today, especially for computer software, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected as impermissibly broad the 8th claim in a patent application filed by which famous inventor and painter? Finally, number 5, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. While there are over 2,500 stars embedded on the sidewalks of Hollywood and Vine Streets, this athlete has the only star which hangs vertically at the entrance of the Dolby Theater.
Oh, my God. I walk by it every day, and I don't know it.
All right, we'll be right back with our answers. All the answers are now locked in, so let's hear those questions one more time. We'll give our answers.
So on the final round, question 1, the category was Reservoir Dogs. While dogs have been used in warfare since ancient times, the first official record of dogs being used by the American military was in 1835, when bloodhounds served in the Second War named for this Native American tribe.
We wagered 20 points on this, and the only wars I could think of that had a specific tribe name that weren't like French and Indian Wars or something like that was the Seminole Wars. So we said it was the Second Seminole War.
We wagered 20 all the way down, and we also said Seminole.
Both teams are correct. That was the Seminole Wars. Correct. Question 2, Pulp Fiction. In which 1962 novel, later a 1971 film, does the protagonist first person narrate the story in Norsat, an English-Russian slang?
So this one, I was kind of sure. I just didn't know if the movie was released in this year. I thought maybe it was later. But I know in high school I read A Clockwork Orange, and that book is completely made up of slang, and they have a glossary at the end so you can understand it. And in the movie, I believe they speak a slang. I just don't know if it's Russian English, but that was all we had to go on. So we went A Clockwork Orange.
That's probably a lot closer to the answer than we said. Crime and Punishment. Not right, but that's what we said.
Not right. The pulp here is orange. It is A Clockwork Orange.
Oh, I didn't even think about pulp and orange. Oh, man, I'm so dumb. Okay.
Question 3 in the final round was Kill Bill. Richard Gere killed it in the film version of Chicago, singing and tap dancing as infamous defense lawyer Billy Flynn. In 2003, a member of this boy band joined the traveling Broadway company of Chicago, portraying Billy Flynn on stage, including a performance in Pittsburgh, which I attended. Name the boy band.
All right, so I subjected Jeff to me just kind of dissecting different boy bands over and over again. And for listeners at home that aren't familiar with Chicago and its Broadway roots, it's a show, I think it now is the longest running American musical in history, but they often get sort of cameo stunt casting or whatever. We've talked about Eddie George being in it. Just people, like Jerry Springer played Billy Flynn in a production. So there's just random people in there. Anyway, I went through all the boy bands, and I know around 2003, that's when NSYNC kind of breaks apart. Justin goes solo. So I was thinking Joey Fatone. And I was also thinking Backstreet Boys around 2003 also started to peter out. And I know Joey Fatone was in Rent on Broadway, and I think it was near the same time. So I went the Backstreet Boys route. And I know, even though he's not the best performer, I think Kevin Richardson was on Broadway. So we went Backstreet Boys. There's my reasoning.
So I thought that this was right before he had his dreams of going to the moon shattered. And I just thought it might have been Lance Bass. So we said NSYNC.
Well, I enjoyed Neal's thesis on Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and the various boy bands it could be, but I was surprised in my playbill to see Kevin Richardson in Pittsburgh. It was the Backstreet Boys.
Oh my God. You guys deserve to win then.
How was he? How was Kevin Richardson?
It was great. Yeah. It was, I think we were just like, wait, he's in the show? It was like one of those type things. But yeah, it was a good show. So question 4, final round, the Hateful Eight. In a landmark 1853 decision, still the basis of patent law today, especially for computer software, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected as impermissibly broad the 8th claim in a patent application filed by which famous inventor and painter?
We put 20 down on this one, and I'm pretty sure that this is Samuel Morse. So,
of course it's Morse. We went with someone I had no idea. I just guessed Edison because he did a lot of weird stuff at the time. So Edison.
This is the inventor of the telegraph, Samuel Morse. And finally, once upon a time in Hollywood, while there are over 2,500 stars embedded on the sidewalks of Hollywood and Vine Streets, this athlete has the only star which hangs vertically at the entrance of the Dolby Theater.
Another 20 on this one for us. Neal and I were talking about sports figures who would have a star on the Walk of Fame, and Neal was like, Ali's got to have one. And I was like, well, who'd want to be somebody who'd never be on their back? And we thought about how you'd float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. So maybe his is floating above. So we guessed Ali.
I thought it was you only get it that way if you can knock out Superman. And so I also thought it was Muhammad Ali. So we said Muhammad Ali.
Well, this athlete did not want anyone to walk on his name or his star. The answer is Muhammad Ali.
Okay, after that crazy final round and also just wonderful written game, the scores are here, and it looks like Team Ebony and Ivory is going to come up a little bit short with 135 points. And today's cream of the crop are going to be Citrus and Sandalwood coming to stores near you with 240 points.
The cream of the crop.
Wow.
So
we should have.
Guys.
We were playing defense like the Seattle Seahawks. That was our problem.
Yeah, I'm watching it live, and I want to punch myself in the face, and also everyone that plays defense for them.
Markkus got very despondent towards the end of this game.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at it. It's right in my face, and you know what?
We appreciate
the halftime seemed to favor one team, but the final, which was worth more points, certainly favored the other. I think that was the problem.
I think you're right. So thank you very much. We'll start with Markkus, so you can maybe drown your sorrows a little bit after this football game. But thank you for joining us. Can you tell people where they can find you now that you're on your new podcast?
Yes. You can find us on all social media platforms at Benchwarmers TP, and you can find me personally on all social media at Double K07 because my name, Markkus, spelled with 2 Ks. Figure it out, nerds.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Markkus. Thank you for joining us today and hanging out and being Triviality's official 6th man and also being a Patreon supporter. David, wonderful, wonderful game that you wrote. Great questions, wide-reaching topics and everything. And we appreciate you being here and supporting us on Patreon. Any final words, shout-outs, anything you'd like to say?
I guess what I would say is, for anybody out there who's listening, I would encourage them to support the podcast like I do. It's rewarding, and you might be able to one day host a trivia podcast, which is something I never thought I would do, but it was a lot of fun. Thank you, guys.
Of course. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today to write the game, to host it. You did a great job, and we appreciate you. If you'd like to join David and Markkus, you can go to patreon.com/Triviality Podcast. For Ken, we hope his tailbone gets better. For Matt, Markkus, David, Jeff, and myself, I'm Neal, and that was Triviality.
I'm resisting the urge to go do a quick load of laundry.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever done laundry?
A big company that they produce a lot of stuff.